Hey guys, Long Couch here, and welcome back to Who Shot the Sheriff? Nope, What Remains of Edith Finch? This walking simulator story-heavy game which I am really digging so far. Now I gotta tell you guys, I actually went back and rewatched all of the videos leading up to this point because I felt like I was missing some stuff. I felt like maybe I had glossed some things over, and I wanted to see if I could pick up on anything new that I had missed the first time around. And I'm glad I did, because I think I was successful in that, and I want to take a second to just kind of like do a recap of everything up to this point and maybe discuss a couple things. It's actually going to take a couple minutes probably. So if you want to skip all that, I will slap a timestamp right about there, and you can just skip ahead to when I proceed through the door to the next area here. But otherwise, strap in, because we're gonna talk about some stuff here, because this is my freaking Let's Play, and it's what I want to do. So, starting from the beginning, we are Edith Finch, and we're kind of the last remaining member of the Finch family. Well, maybe not. We'll get into that later. And this goes back a long way. The Finch family curse was around for a long time, even during the time of Odin and Ingeborg. Our story kind of starts with them, though, back in 1937. So Odin and Ingeborg had a daughter named Edie, and she was already married to a guy named Sven, and they had a daughter, Molly. Then Odin and Ingeborg, I hope I'm saying that right, it might be like Ingeborg. I'm not sure where they're from originally. It's like Norway or Norwegia or Sweden, one of those, I don't know, somewhere around there. Ingeborg gave birth to a son named Johans, and they both died, unfortunately. The child did not survive, and Ingeborg died in child labor, presumably. So at that point, Odin was like, F this noise, I'm going somewhere else. He put the house on a boat, took Edie and Sven and baby Molly, and set sail for Orcas Island, which is close to Washington, I believe, where we are now. And we were very close to shore, but unfortunately we got caught in some kind of storm with giant tsunami waves or whatnot, and the house sank, and Odin went with it. That is when Odin died, in 1937. Edie, Sven, and baby Molly made it ashore, and built the house that we're in right now, and had a bunch more kids. Barbara, Calvin, Sam, and Walter, in addition to Molly. Now, we've got a lot of this tree filled out already, because we've pretty much gotten the stories for everybody that is mentioned up to this point, more or less. And a bunch of really bad things happened to all the kids in the tree. Except for, like, Sam and Walter, who were able to grow up to be adults, but even their stories ended kind of tragically. But in any case, Sam ended up marrying a woman named Kay, who is represented by that leaf kind of right there in the middle. That's the other thing. We figured out that pretty much only people who were born as Finches have a spot on the tree. People who married into the family get like little leaves on the little timeline here. So Sam and Kay are my grandparents. They had Don, Gus, and Gregory. And then Don married a guy named Sanjay, and they had 3 kids, Louis, Milton, and Edith. And Louis died. We don't really know how yet. Milton disappeared under mysterious circumstances. He may or may not still be alive. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about that yet. I'll talk about that a little later, probably. We haven't heard Gus or Gregory's story. We don't really know how Don died. We know that Don dying was the inciting incident that made us come back here. But other than that, we're kind of in the dark with pretty much everybody post-grandparents and great-grandparents. So, okay. Now let's talk about the stuff that we've actually experienced in this game. And I'm just going to kind of like walk around and try to soak in some of the details here while I do this. The last memory we experienced was Sam, which was actually probably my favorite up until this point, because it was just so poignant, man. That memory of the camping trip was just so serene and beautiful and really touching, with how, you know, Dom was on like her first hunting trip and shot a deer, and she was really having trouble dealing with that, and Sam was trying to help her through it, trying to teach her some strength, you know. And then all of a sudden he gets bucked off a freaking cliff by the deer who wasn't dead yet, and it was just so surprising. That was like mind blown, man. Okay, so here's the box of Kay's stuff. Kay was Sam's first wife, who made the pink bathroom that we saw earlier. I actually really like that place. This room's actually kind of creepy in the dark here, come to think of it. But anyway, I wanted to specifically talk about Molly and Barbara because those are the two stories that have a lot of ambiguity to them. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, I'm really wary of spoilers, but I was a little pissed off about the ambiguity there, so I did look up some online discussion about them, and I wasn't really able to find any good answers. So I've gotten a couple comments talking about how Molly's whole thing, you know, thinking she was a different animal or turning into a bunch of different animals and going on this adventure was probably like a hallucination from some holly berries that she ate, because holly berries are supposed to be poisonous. Now, that was kind of news to me, so I looked that up too, and what I found out is that holly berries are poisonous, but only to a very mild degree. Apparently they usually result in just like vomiting, diarrhea, dehydration, that kind of stuff. Apparently it's very, very, very rare for anybody to die from eating holly berries. It's almost unheard of. So it's possible that Molly was just that 1 in 1,000 cases of somebody who died from eating holly berries. But there's one other thing to consider, and that's if we go back to the very beginning of her memory, when she started writing down that journal. She started that whole thing off by saying, "I won't be here much longer." And that was before she ate any of that crap or started hallucinating or feeling sick or whatever the hell happened. So that kind of throws a wrench into that whole hypothesis. It kind of makes me think, like, maybe she was sick, or she had some kind of prior knowledge about something terrible that was going to happen to her. And I just don't think there's a good answer about it, guys. You could argue that the combination of the holly berries and the toothpaste that she ate and all the other crap she ate made her really sick, or maybe she, you know, started hallucinating and just fell out the window and died. I don't know. Nobody can really say. I don't think there's a good, strong answer on that. And honestly, I think that goes doubly so for Barbara. When we get into her story, I'm actually a little upset about that. It kind of pisses me off in retrospect. The sequence itself doesn't piss me off. I think it was a really good sequence. I had a lot of fun playing it. But, with that said, there's like a lot of different threads going on in that whole sequence that kind of really confound things. There's a couple different radio broadcasts that you hear during that talk about all this different shit going on in the island. There's a hooked man. There's a guy with a hooked hand on the loose. A killer who murdered somebody and 8 people 10 years ago, and he's on the loose. And then there's also a group of thugs just like terrorizing the island because it's Halloween and they're just going nuts. And by the end of that whole scenario, you could kind of infer that she got murdered by one of those things. It's kind of implied that the people who showed up at the end of that comic were just like thugs in Halloween masks, and it was like an embellished story meant to just be a fun way to go over how she actually died, which would make a lot of sense. But the one thing I don't get about that is that the cops apparently believe that it was her boyfriend who did it, and he vanished during the whole event. So the thing that doesn't make sense about that is if there was like a deranged escaped killer on the loose and a gang of murderous thugs, why would the police immediately suspect the boyfriend? There's so many different, like, better explanations for that on that night. And also, I just feel like there would have been a ton of evidence left behind by any of those culprits. So, I just feel like that part was, like, written specifically to be vague, and it's kind of annoying. That kind of bothers me on a game that's supposed to be so densely packed with really specific story beats and really intense emotional things. I just wish we had a better answer on that. But that's about the worst thing I can say about this game. I am really enjoying it, other than that stuff, and I am really excited to see where we go from here. We've got about half the tree filled out. We've got some more stories to go through, and I'm sure that there's going to be some really good payoff with the whole Milton thing by the end of the game. In terms of whether he's dead or alive, either way, it's probably going to be very emotional, and I'm just really excited to see how it plays out. We've also recently learned that we are pregnant. Now that I look down, I guess that's kind of a baby bump right there. So, There's a couple different threads going on here, even though it's a very short, very densely packed game. And yeah, this is just great. So okay, I think we're caught up on everything I wanted to mention right now, and I think we're ready to move on. Here we go. This is getting spookier and spookier. It's just so dark everywhere now.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Yeah, Edie has been through some shit in her life. Actually, let's pop back in here for a second and just look at all these people who have lived and died during Edie's lifetime. She knew pretty much all of them to some degree. Most of them were her direct children, or her husbands, or descendants of her children. And she has outlived all of them. Like Edie. Damn, girl. I'm sorry. I'm sorry your life has been like this. So what is this? Finch Control? Is this a Calvin thing? He was the spaceman, right? He wanted to be an astronaut. He died like an idiot. That's probably like my least favorite memory, honestly. Because it's like, what the hell? Okay, so Gregory, Don, and Gus. These were the 3 kids by Sam and Kay. So Gregory, he was the one who died really quickly, right? 70. Yeah, he was like 1 year old. Dang. And then Gus died after him, and then Mom died a long time later. Alright. Let's see what details we can pick up on here before we read his little section there. Emergency evacuation plan. House rules. No playing outside without permission. No answering door for strangers. No messes after dark. All chores before dark. Respect others. Okay. So you can kind of see how some of these rules came about because of the deaths of other kids. No playing outside without permission. That would have been Calvin, who died playing outside. No answering door for strangers. That's probably referring to Barbara, right? No messes after dark. That could be Molly. She was supposed to be asleep in bed. She got up and started screwing around and got herself killed somehow. All chores before dark. That one I don't know if we can really relate to anything. Maybe... No, I don't even know. But yeah, maybe that's what's going to be explained right now.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet...
Okay, well I kind of want to do these in order, so... Let's do Gregory first. Divorce contract. Hold up. So, to Sam Finch. Hey, I'm not done with that. I didn't hit anything, guys. I guess we're not really meant to read this paper. So this is from Kay to Sam, I guess?
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it. I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
It's having an effect on the music. Oh, I'm actually controlling this frog right now.
Time's over, Gregory. It's time to... Hold on, sweetie. Hello?
Alright, I guess I'll just keep playing around.
Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I wonder what he saw.
Look, I can go underwater too. Oh, nice!
What his world was like.
All the ducks. Oh! Yeah!
You reminded me so much of Calvin.
Whoa!
Lost in his imagination. Whatever it was he saw.
I'm not even questioning this game anymore, guys. Every sequence is just out of its mind. Alright, now I'm not sure what they want from me. Woo! You get some serious air if you do it right. I guess I gotta figure out where to make him jump next to get the next line of dialogue. There we go.
It sure made him happy.
I guess we're just trying to get all the toys in here.
I know how silly it sounds.
Uh-oh. That could be a bad thing.
But I worried about a baby being too happy. But I could feel him slipping away.
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn it.
Am I gonna get sucked down the drain?
Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
Oh, I'm gonna turn the damn... They're gonna make me do this. I'm gonna turn the water back on, guys.
I wish he could have told us about the world he saw.
Oh, God.
There's so much I don't understand about Gregory. About everything. But I know what happened wasn't your fault. I'm sure he's happy. And he'd want you to be happy too. Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
Wow. 1 year old drowned in the bathtub. You know, I don't know a whole lot about raising kids, but shouldn't you really not leave a 1 year old alone in the bathtub? I don't know. Maybe people do that all the time and it works out fine, but did not work out in that case, obviously. That one didn't really hit me as much because, I don't know, I just saw it coming from a mile away. It was a fun little sequence, but like, it didn't surprise me. Most of the other ones surprised me in some way, you know? Okay. So I know we still have that item back there to look at. I just want to see what's over here. What the hell's that? That leads up to some other area up there. Oh shit, I can climb it!
The loft after her brothers died.
Okay, I'm jumping the gun here, guys.
At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
Okay. So, raised flag, 7:30 a.m., breakfast at 8, quiet time at 11, duties, Don, sweep trash, Gus, mop and mow yard, Greg, be a baby. Routine, jump rope, jumping jacks, push-ups, crunches, run the mailbox and back. Wow, they had a whole regimen worked out. Okay, let's see what happened to Gus here.
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard.
Whoa. This is kind of neat.
My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart.
So Gus is objecting to this wedding. I'm guessing the wedding between Don and Sanjay. Ooh, it's going pretty fast.
I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom, were the words that I read.
Oh no. This is whoever Sam remarried. I don't think we have a whole lot of info on that yet, guys. Alright. Yeah, we are at the house. Okay, good to know. We're down by the beach. I don't know if you can call it a beach, but yeah. So am I just supposed to, like, mow these people over, or... Because I'm not finding a whole lot else to do with this kite. I don't seem able to reel it in or farther out. All I can really do is fly it around. Ah, here we go.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger.
Oh, yeah? Oh, Gus, you naughty boy.
The wind picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
Oh, snap.
The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made.
Gus is gonna die because he won't go into the tent while it's raining.
The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder."
This is really awesome. It's so creative. Oh!
I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea and foam. But I didn't. Until we found you.
So, yeah.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
Okay. Yeah, he did die from not going into the tent, but it was because the tent, like, honed in on him, like, missile-seeking style. That was kind of nuts. That was like the tent assassinated him. And Gus was the guy I was looking at earlier with the mohawk. Check that out. Okay. And then here we've got sympathy cards for his death, I guess. It's not the first time we found sympathy cards in this house. It's kind of nuts to think about. They keep all that shit. You know what else is kind of weird, guys? And maybe this isn't so weird, but I don't know. I've noticed that they don't reuse rooms in this house. Like, when somebody dies, they just board it up and leave it the way it is and just keep, like, adding new rooms for the new family members. I guess that's why the house is built the way it was, all stacked up like a freaking wizard's tower. It's kind of weird. Alright. To the attic? Is that what she said this was? Oh, look, I'm getting tired. I can't climb fast. You got this, Edith. We're almost there. Gus and Gregory actually went a lot faster than I expected, so...
Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died.
Yeah, that does tend to happen to people. Alright, so this is where she came after the brothers died. And Gus died in, what does that say, 82, I believe? So she was up here for a little while. She would have been 14 when that happened. So she was probably up here for her teenage years before she moved out, you know. Nice little area here. Ooh, I would actually love to be up here with this sunroof right here.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English.
Ah, which would be why she married a man named Sanjay. Makes sense.
She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
Right. And then she brought him back here, and he died too. Because he got caught up in the curse. Copy passport for something. Meet with relieve rep. That probably says something else, but I can't make it out. After school teaching, then pack, and then fly to India. 10 ways to teach critical thinking. Hey! Woman
Louis
after my
was
own
born a
heart.
year later.
Okay. Why? Why do that now? I was talking, damn it. Looking at stuff. Call mom. Looks like maybe she got a little Indian culture while she was over there. Brought it back home with her. Left her, what is that, a passport or a license? I can't tell. Oh shit, what is this? Oh no! That's a shortcut back downstairs. Why would we want to do that, though? I guess we can't take the pole back up. I gotta climb. I didn't know that was gonna happen. I don't know why you would want to backtrack in such a linear game unless you just missed something down there, I guess. Okay. And we know that Edie died in 2010, so that's when we decided to move out. But I wonder why that was like the inciting incident with everything else that happened. I guess my mom just snapped. I guess Dawn was just like, it's the final straw, I can't take this shit anymore. Even though Edie lived a very long and, I mean, mostly fulfilling life, it sounds like. Ooh, those stairs got jacked up.
When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go.
We're reaching the top here, guys. We're getting there.
I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back.
Oh, so she came back here. Oh, okay. So here's some gardening for us kids.
And to see kids in the house again.
Yeah. What was she growing for me? This stuff isn't labeled, so I don't know. But Lewis got some mint, thyme, sage, and basil.
The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that.
Yeah, but at some point this house is just going to collapse in on itself from all the weight of the new stories. And then you'll be like, oh, it's the curse. I'll be like, no, you did it to yourself, dumbass.
And for a while, things were good. Almost normal. But it didn't last.
Okay. Scientific method, observation, question, research, hypothesis, experiment, data, conclusion. So, Mom was a very well-rounded woman. She had religion and science, which are often at odds, but they don't necessarily always have to be, as people have told me many times in my life. Our family history, fact or fiction. They made a memory game out of it. That's funny. Lewis rules. Edith, Barbara, Gus, Sven, Odin, Gregory. So, this is where Mom taught us. Were we all homeschooled? I didn't know that. But this is her little classroom she made up for us. The curse. She actually... Wow, she actually educated us on the curse of the family, guys. Like homeschool style. That's nuts. Are any of these actually readable? No, they're not. Alright.
The beginning
Whoa.
of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
Gave him a castle.
After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
So, okay, before I take a step further, guys, here's the thing about Milton. We found his name on 2 passages leading from one room to another. One of them I thought it said Mittens, it actually said Milton. And it's really weird because if we go back and check those areas where his name was, they were actually set up in kind of a drawing or like a tableau of ways in which family members died. The first one was like a drawing of a kid on a swing, which was Calvin, and it said Milton there. And then the other one was like a drawing of a pumpkin with like a little baby outfit set up in such a way so that it looked like the pumpkin was the head of the outfit, which would, you know, reference Barbara. So it's really, really odd how Milton's name has just shown up in these little, like, out-of-the-way places referencing the deaths of family members. And I don't know what it all means, but I am really curious. One thought I had about Milton is that since he was the kid who obviously knew where all these passages were, maybe he found a passage out to the old house that was built by Sven for some godforsaken reason, and he ended up out there at the old house and got stuck somehow and died. Or, this is less likely, but maybe he's even still alive out there. Maybe he's just living out there now, just surviving off fish. I don't really know how that would work. And it's not a super plausible theory, but it's the best thing I got right now. Alright. And, I guess we can climb in the window there, but there's even more stories to this. Okay, we'll save that for, after this, though, I think. What else is over here? It's weird. They let us walk the whole way around here, but we can't do anything. Okay. Well, let's jump in, I guess. Wow. He was building a scale model of something. I don't know what that's supposed to be.
I think Edie was happy to finally have another painter in the family.
Oh. Yeah, that's why he had that paintbrush on top of his quote-unquote monument, not a tombstone. Yeah, I see. Whoa. That's pretty cool. How did Edie just give him this? How did she make this? Alright, so there's Milton. 1992, and he disappeared in 2003? So he was 11 years old when he vanished.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Oh, it's a flip book. Check this out. That was a lot of pages for a flip book.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
So are they really going to ask us to believe that he painted a magic door and then walked through it? Like, I kind of doubt it, but it would just be funny if this game took a big supernatural twist right here at the end.
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors.
Yeah, Mom really had a thing for sealing doors, didn't she?
Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
It is going to be pretty spooky if we just end up finding his bones tucked away somewhere inside the house. I remember reading a story like that.
Mom blamed Edie, but I think Lewis blamed himself.
Yeah. I read a story like that when I was really little. I think it was a Fear Street book.
After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
Is this going to be the final one? There's really nobody left after this. At least not from the main family. Yeah. But no, guys, I don't have any hope of remembering what the book was called, but I remember reading like a Fear Street book, which was a really great children's horror series when I was a kid. And I just remember this kid getting stuck in a wall, and he just kind of like haunted the house for a while until they broke down the wall and found his bones in there. It was fucked up. But that's kind of the vibe I'm getting from the whole Milton story here. Alright, so there's something up there to interact with over here. How many more freaking stories are there to this place? Oh my god. Alright, can we look through the peephole?
Everyone always told me to stay out of Lewis's room. Except Lewis.
Lewis invited me in, huh? Alright. Well, I assume the invitation still stands. Also, Mom wasn't very bright, sealing up the doors but leaving the windows open like this. Well, not open, but, you know, easily accessible. So I don't really know what good she thought she was doing by sealing the doors.
Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
Lewis was a bit of a hippie, huh? Alright. I feel like he was a little too old for that by the time he was born. But hey. Whatever floats your boat. Right, dudes? Mellow. Okay, wow, he had a pretty bitchin' gaming PC here, too. 4x3 monitors, but what are you gonna do?
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Oh, too real. And this is by no means a generic stand-in for a PlayStation 1, so don't go thinking that, guys. The Wonderland Turbo. Freaking VCR. Is anybody who's watching this, do any of you actually know what a VCR is? Because I do, but I feel like most people these days don't. Unless you're as old as I am, which I think most of you aren't. So that's kind of funny. Oh no! I didn't mean to climb out. I'm just looking around. Looking for things. This is a nice setup he had here, though. Get high, play some video games. Hell yeah. Theodore's Quality Cigars. Oh, smoke some cigars, too. Yeah. I used to play video games with my sister when we were kids. Those are good times. Road Rash. Alright, let's see what Lewis had going on in his life, guys.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life.
Alright, we're gonna slice fish heads.
He kept working at the cannery.
Oh.
But he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to... wander.
This is such a dangerous job. What is happening here, guys? I'm controlling this somehow, but it's very, very odd. Oh. Oh, I see. I see what's going on now. I'm supposed to do my job while I run this guy through this little maze here.
I asked him to describe it. He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth.
This is tricky, guys.
Feel his way about.
We've all been here, haven't we?
Then something moved. Bats. And toads.
Uh-oh. Just working and daydreaming about video games.
And things that have not names.
This is actually my life like every single day.
He knew it was all in his head.
Oh, that's cool.
He took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more.
Whoa, it's evolving.
I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused.
Yeah.
Like a whole new Lewis.
This is not going to end well, though.
So I let him go on.
This is going to end with me getting my face chopped off, guys.
I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians.
So we're starting to cover up my real job.
And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination, so he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor. And he won.
Yeah, Mario style.
They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
This is crazy, guys.
He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville.
Oh, but it's hard to steer.
St. Louis.
St. Louis.
He started drifting away from our reality.
That's just called becoming an adult.
Minneapolis. until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on.
Mom, I'm working. What the hell do you want from me? Damn.
In Lewisburg, he heard rumors of a
Handsome queen.
handsome queen.
We're getting some branching storylines here, guys.
The queen was on her own quest for
Radiant rainbows.
radiant rainbows.
Because it would have been too hard to steer in the other direction.
He followed the sound of her electric sitar.
We're building our own story, guys. Oh, I'm missing things. Damn it.
His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound.
And we can no longer see our real life. Awesome.
He knew the world was all in his imagination. But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
I want to see if I could go back onto that altar, but I can't. Am I back in the real world now? I think so. After my shift. Hey, it's my knockoff DS. It's like half a DS. Legalize marijuana, bros.
He began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
We're building up to something really messed up here, guys. I can feel it.
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
It's like not even touching anything. Just going through the motions like a robot.
I still thought I could save him.
Uh-oh.
Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions.
They don't have faces, though. That's creepy. Why don't they have faces, guys?
Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on inviting him. his crown. There was only one thing left to do. Bend down his head.
Oh god. Oh god. You guys know what's coming, right? I have no choice.
And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
Fuck.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
Wow, so that was a suicide. Maybe not even really a deliberate one, but like a... I don't know how to word what I'm trying to convey, guys. I mean, I don't think it was like a suicide of despair. It was like a... He had a lot of mental problems. And it just kind of culminated in that. Like, I think some part of him knew what he was doing when he stuck his head down there. But I think he just didn't care anymore. Because he was so involved in his fantasy. He never got the help he needed. Damn, that's messed up. Even knowing that was coming, that was a really effective sequence. Woo.
He was so proud of being Indian. I think for him, it was a way to be something other than just a Finch.
Huh. Interesting. Okay. Well, I don't know what's coming next, guys, but we are at the door marked exit. Let us see what is behind it. Yeah, sorry guys, suicide's kind of a sensitive topic for me. That's...
On the way back from
that hit
Lisa's
me.
funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie.
Oh. I bet Edie didn't take that very well.
I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed.
So
I
is this
understand why we left.
is this the top floor? What is this? I think this is where all the answers come together, guys. Dawn Finch. I can't read the other name on there. Kristen, maybe? Who the hell's Kristen? Edith and Mom. That had to have been drawn by Lewis, right? That one right there. Actually, I guess that's not a marijuana leaf. That joke didn't work. Never mind.
My mom ended up leaving everything behind.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff to leave behind. A lot of dollar value she just threw out the window there. To Teach and to Learn by Dawn Finch. 7 ways to create a fulfilling classroom. So she followed in Odin's footsteps, guys. This is a family of really creative people. We know that Odin was an author, and Edie was a painter, and then Dawn ended up being a writer too. Milton was also a painter. Sven was obviously very good with his hands. Barbara was an actress. I guess those are the standouts. Sam was really good at photography, so there's that. I don't really know what Gus did that was really all that great. Walter was a crazy person. But a lot of them were very talented, is the point.
What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner.
Hello there, little Finch. Little plastic Finch. Oh, these things are all over the place.
But it had to end one way or another.
All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
Here we go. It's my story, guys. That's the journal from the beginning of the game. I'm pretty sure this whole game is we're telling this to our child in the future. I guess that's obvious at this point, but yeah.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
Okay. We're gonna play through this final night, guys. We gotta go find a place to eavesdrop, right?
the power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles.
Can I pick up this candle? No.
When my mom said the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
Mom made that mistake a lot. Oh, this is the library where Edie said that every Finch is buried in here somewhere, guys.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight.
That seems like a pretty unfair characterization of things.
We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
Oh, yeah, this is when they decided to send her to a home. Right. History of the Finches by Edie Finch.
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it.
Oh, this is cool.
When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around.
And I'm lost. I can do nothing except stumble around blindly, guys. So that is what I will do.
For a while, I wandered.
The subtitles will light my way.
I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me.
Is this all real stuff?
Or maybe
Oh.
I came back to them. things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go!
Give it up, bitch!
I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again.
No!
The next morning, the band came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by.
Gonna shake the letters out.
My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it.
Am I like being born right now?
I just want to meet you. And tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way.
Oh no. I'm pretty sure I just popped out of Edith's birth canal.
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Oh man. I died like a year after my kid was born. And I somehow got buried in the same family plot. I guess my kid knew that it was important. He brought me back here. And now he gets to go explore the house himself. Although, he doesn't really need to because we told him everything. In the journal. For Shirley Dallas. I apologize, Miss Dallas. I don't actually know who you are. You are obviously somebody very important to the developers. Ian Dallas was the creative director. She was probably related to him. Wow, what a game, guys. Jeez, I don't even know what to say about that. That was just so emotionally charged. Very well done. It was really creative, especially for what is ostensibly a walking simulator. I mean, pretty much every scenario we went into was really unique in its own way, even if some of them maybe weren't as good as the others. They all had their own signature to them, and they all played differently, and you can just tell the love that went into this. Like, what a Lovecraft. No. What a passion project? Closer. What a work of love. I don't know how to phrase it. So, okay. There's a lot of themes in this game, I think, and Edith really touched on them big time there at the end. It's interesting to think about how, like, I feel like a lot of the characters in this game died because they kind of bit off more than they could chew. If you think about it, even starting with somebody as early as Molly, early meaning like in the game, it's generally accepted that she died because she ate too much food or too much bad food and got poisoned. And she woke up being super hungry and just wanted to eat. So she ate as much as she could and it killed her. Too much of a good thing. Then you move on to somebody like Calvin, who just really, really wanted to be an astronaut. Wanted to fly. Ended up swinging too hard and threw himself off a cliff. Too much of a good thing. You get into Barbara, who just wanted to be a star. And was a star, but it kind of lost it. Wanted to get back into it. Ended up getting killed by probably what was a group of like ravenous, crazy fans who showed up on Halloween in monster masks and murdered her. But she got to be a star one last time. Too much of a good thing. Kind of the same with Lewis there at the end, too. Really just wanted to live his life in a fantasy world, play video games, be the star of his own mind. And by the end of it, he had gone a little too deep into that and ended up offing himself. Probably on purpose because his mind just wasn't there. I feel like that's kind of a really recurring theme with a lot of these characters, and I can't delve into it too deeply off the top of my head here. I'd like to see some good discussion on it, guys. I would really love to hear your thoughts on this. Please drop some comments. Let me know your interpretation. Tell me some things that you picked up on in this game that I may have missed. I think there's a lot to dive into here, and I can't do it all in the span of, one credit sequence when it's, something I just went through. I haven't really had time to process a lot of it. I really enjoy the fact that I'm able to enjoy this game, because if I can be honest with you guys, for a long time, I didn't really value story in a video game at all. If this was like 10 years ago, I probably would have looked at a game like this and been like, oh, what a pile of shit, fuck this game. The gameplay sucks. It's always gameplay over story, right? And I've loosened up on that a lot over the years. Oh wow, it's the whole Edith Finch team. That's cool. The end. Took them 5 years to make this game, apparently. And, yeah. I think it's a really great game. The replay a story option is now available. Select Edith to play from the beginning. Oh, that's so cool. We can just go in and replay any of these stories at will. I quite like that. Yeah. So, and I think, guys, just to finish out this one point I was talking about, I think the story would be a lot more resonant with people if they are able to relate to it on any kind of level. In terms of your family structure, maybe some losses you've suffered. To be honest, I have been very lucky in my life to not really have lost any immediate family members. And, I've been very close to my grandfather. If I can get real with you for a second here, guys. My grandfather is still alive. I've talked about my relationship with him in the past, especially in like my Zelda playthrough. Which, side note, is going to start again very soon, in case you were wondering. But let's not get sidetracked. I'm very close to my grandfather, and just lately, his health has really started to go downhill. And we're not sure how much longer he's going to be with us. I don't want to get too morbid here, guys. I'm not looking for sympathy or anything. I'm just saying that what she was talking about at the end, where like it's not really important to look for a reason about why things ended. It's just important to be amazed that you were here at all and that you had any time with these people. That's the amazing thing. The fact that we all had lives and we all got to experience what we did, and maybe they were cut short too soon. Maybe you wish you had more time with people. That's kind of an unavoidable consequence of just living life as a human. No matter how much time you have with the people you love, if you really love them, it's probably never enough anyway. So the real trick about life is to just value the time you have and love these people and remember them when they're gone. And I think that's kind of the most important takeaway for me from this game. But yeah, that's about all I got, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this. I want to say thank you to Giant Sparrow for making such a good indie title, such a sweet, emotional, well-crafted roller coaster of a short indie title, because I really do believe that indie titles are kind of like, maybe not the backbone of the games industry, but they're a very important function of the games industry right now. And I kind of my biggest regret with my channel is that I haven't gotten to play more of them. So I think I'm really going to try to focus and try and do that going forward, guys. I want to try and sprinkle in more titles like this among the bigger titles that I play. And I hope that you're cool with that. If you're not, that sucks. But I gotta play what I like to play on my channel. That's never going to change. So look forward to more titles like this in the future this year on my channel. And thanks as always for the tremendous support. I appreciate all the views, all the likes, all the comments, and all the subs. It all means the world to me. And thank you guys for any level of support that you give to my channel. I really hope you enjoyed. And I will catch you guys in the next series. Take care, everybody.